Well, the inland Northwest woke up to smoky skies today. This is footage captured by our Sky 2 drone over Coeur d'Alene this morning. A bit hazy out there. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. It's good to have you here. So that smoke may be hanging around. Plus now the entire Spokane area will be under a red flag warning that starts tonight and lasts through Wednesday morning. On that note, let's get straight to meteorologist Tom Sherry in the Outdoor Weather Center. And Tom, is this due to the thunderstorms as well?
Well, the cloud cover that's moving in is all due to that monsoonal moisture that is working its way up from the deserts of the southwest. So we think we could fire up some dry lightning storms late tonight, overnight, again on Tuesday, up through maybe even Wednesday by noontime. That red flag warning that you see right here, that's in effect until Wednesday at noon. And again, the red flag warning really because of what we think are going to be dry lightning storms. If we get any precipitation, right now the modeling seems it'll be very, very little. Sometimes we get lucky. We get a thunderstorm and then a heavy downpour. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case this time around. So we're hoping against hope, quite frankly, that we don't get many lightning strikes, but it does seem like we're going to get thunderstorms. And of course, everything is tinder dry. Mostly cloudy skies. We do have some haze. At last check, though, the air quality was still, in the good to moderate range. When you look at this, you've got winds out of the northeast right now at about 3 miles per hour. Day planner forecast calling for cloudy and hazy this evening. Late tonight, bubbling up some of those thunderstorms. 66 will be the overnight low. For Tuesday, again, a muggy day, I think, and a chance of thunderstorms. We'll look for a daytime high of 92 degrees as we head into the weekend. We just can't cool down. We're at 93 on Saturday and 94 degrees expected on Sunday with mostly sunny skies. We have yet to determine how smoky or hazy it will be by this weekend. I'll check the rest of your 7-day forecast, all coming up in a few minutes.
We'll talk to you then, Tom. Thank you very much. Well, there are dozens of fires burning across the west right now, including several in central and eastern Washington. So how does this wildfire season so far compare to last year?
Well, it can be hard to answer, especially since this season isn't close to being over yet. But KREM 2's Amanda Rowley is joining us now with the answer. Amanda?
Yeah, Mark and Whitney, this wildfire season definitely seems much busier than it was last year. And let's put it into perspective. According to the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center, at 1 year ago today, Washington State had 6 large wildfires, but today it is reporting 17. What a difference a year makes, right? Well, Carol Colony with NWCC says the challenge with this fire season is how early crews have responded to these large wildfires.
We have over 66 firefighters and support personnel in Oregon and Washington. We have a lot of moving parts. We have a lot of teams here. We don't typically see that in July. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened before. So the challenge is, how do we sustain this as we move through the summer?
Now, Connolly says a big factor in an increase in these fires from this year compared to last year are the extreme conditions and lack of moisture. She says humans remain the most common cause of wildfires in last year's wildfire season and now. Looking ahead to the next 3 months, though, the organization's fire weather forecasters predict Washington will remain hot and dry, along with more lightning activity here in eastern Washington. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. Well, there are still multiple wildfires burning across the Pacific Northwest right now. Here's what you need to know. Level 3 evacuation still in place in Okanagan County, including the areas of Cub Creek and West Chewok and Winthrop. Level 3 means get out now. Also, new at 5 rather, there are level 3 evacuations for the State Route 20 side of the Methow River and west of the Mazama entrance. The fire is now burning more than 8,000 acres. There are additional level 2 evacuations for the area, which means to be ready to leave. We have no word yet on the fire's containment. A Red Cross shelter has been set up at Liberty Bell Elementary School in the Eagle Gym.
Also tonight, the Goddard fire, which is burning in Stevens County, has now grown to about 600 acres. Crews say they have it about 25% contained, and all level 3 evacuations have now been downgraded to level 2. There was 1 structure lost to this fire. Today, crews say they're out there working to finalize a line around the fire.
The Red Apple Fire burning in Wenatchee has now grown to more than 12,000 acres. Good news, though, crews now have it 83% contained. All evacuations have been lowered to level 2 or level 1. Friday, investigators determined the fire was human-caused, but it's still not known exactly how it started. Happening tomorrow, the Department of Natural Resource Commissioner Hillary Franz will visit the Red Apple Fire. She's expected to announce the closure of eastern Washington DNR lands. The Red Apple Fire is just one of 9 major wildfires burning across the state as fire danger increases amid this historic drought.
And one of the biggest fires actually burning in the inland northwest right now is in west central Idaho. The Snake River complex has now ballooned to well over 107,000 acres. Crews say they have been able to get a better handle on it, though. As far as containment, it is now considered 44% contained. Evacuations, though, still in place for several nearby communities. And for all of those who are displaced by this fire, the Red Cross does have a shelter set up at the Echo Hills Church in Lewiston. Right now, no injuries and no structures lost. Now here at KREM, we're committed to keeping you informed about everything you need to know for this wildfire season. This is a lot of information and it can change quickly, so we're making it easy for you to find. All you have to do is text the word FIRE to 509-448-2000.
Well, tonight we continue our Boomtown series where the rapid growth in the inland northwest is one of the factors driving rent prices sky high in Spokane. According to local real estate agent Kimley Haygood, 59% of out-of-town renters in 2020 came from the Seattle area.
Now rent prices are just spiking as the eviction moratorium in the state comes to an end, and it is leaving renters with a tough choice. KREM 2's Ian Smay is joining us now live with more on that. Ian.
Good evening, guys. According to apartmentlist.com, Spokane had the highest rent increase across the country in June, with rates spiking 8.1% that month alone. They also say that since the pandemic started, Spokane's average rent has gone up 31%. This has forced some renters to choose between covering the rising cost of their rent or finding a new place to live. Rent prices across Spokane are spiking.
My rent's going up over 60%. I did the math right when we got the notice and it was like 65, 66%, and I can't afford that anymore.
Jillian Gamache and her boyfriend moved to Spokane about a year ago in an attempt to escape high housing costs in the Seattle-Tacoma area, and they weren't the only ones. Spokane real estate agency Kimley Haygood said in a yearly report that in 2020, 59% of renters moving to Spokane from out of the area were coming from Seattle. But now, Gamache and her boyfriend are on the move again. They may be staying in Spokane, but they'll be leaving their South Hill apartment complex. Instead, she says they found a home to rent that's actually cheaper per square foot.
We found actually a house that dollar for dollar, square footage wise, costs less, and so we were really lucky to jump on that. But if we were like 5 minutes later to getting the application in, we wouldn't have gotten it because everybody's trying to move. So we have a place to go, but yeah, there's no way we'd want to stay there since it's going up so much so fast.
Out-of-town renters is just one factor in the rent increase. Landlords have previously said a lack of housing inventory is causing supply to fall behind housing demands as people move to the area. The pending rent increase for many renters is also the first time landlords have gotten the chance to raise rent since Governor Jay Inslee implemented an eviction moratorium last March. On July 1st, landlords were again able to give the 60-day notice required to raise rents. This spike in rental prices has led to people making the decision to find a new place to live.
And so I'm moving out of my apartment, and 4 other people just in my building are moving out. And I think there's 12 or 13 buildings in the complex. So I know there's more than just the 4 or 5 of us moving out because of the increase.
Gamache says they saw the increase coming because her complex stopped allowing people to do leases earlier this year, instead telling tenants they were only offering month-to-month agreements until further notice. She also says she and her boyfriend asked if the rental increase was going to come with renovations or better accommodations, but she didn't get an answer. All of this has led to a stressful situation for renters such as Gamache.
Oh, it's been so stressful. I haven't been able to sleep. I've been trying to stay a little bit later and get some extra hours at work so that I can just afford to finish out my month at the apartments and then move out, because even moving on itself is expensive.
Now, another factor in this is vacancies, with Kimley Haygood saying in that report that the vacancy rate in Spokane dropped to 1.1% in 2020. In Washington, landlords have to give renters a 60-day notice that they're going to be raising rent. And for those living in subsidized housing, that's lowered to 30 days. In the newsroom, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
All right, Ian, thank you very much. And looking ahead to tomorrow, the Tenants Union of Washington Spokane hosting a tenant meeting. It is a public event that's happening on Zoom at 5:30 in the evening. It is just to help provide more information as local rents continue to skyrocket. So topics will include newly created tenant protections to avoid eviction, how to comment on the City of Spokane's housing action plan, and what to do if your rent is on the rise. So again, that event is open to anyone. All you have to do is register. We have a link to do that. Just go to our story on krem.com.
All right, still ahead tonight, hundreds of millions of dollars in federal stimulus money was sent to our area, and the question now is how to spend it. We'll hear from the mayor and 2 county commissioners about what that money could be used for after the break.